Oh my goodness, it finally happened. Katt Williams has just confirmed what many of us have suspected all along. According to new revelations, 50 Cent allegedly removed 7 major names from the Netflix Diddy documentary, and these weren't just minor figures or background characters. We're talking about some of the most powerful and recognizable celebrities in the entertainment industry. What makes this even more shocking? Katt Williams predicted this months ago. And now, it looks like the truth is slowly starting to surface. Let's get into it. This is exactly why you clicked on this video. Katt Williams has officially entered the conversation surrounding Netflix's Diddy documentary chaos, and he's not pulling any punches. He's openly accusing 50 Cent of protecting certain individuals, deliberately keeping key names and connections out of the final cut. According to Katt, the documentary the public saw is only a sanitized version of the real story. Remember when Katt Williams went on Club Shay Shay and boldly declared, "All lies will be exposed"? At the time, many people laughed it off. But now, it's becoming clear that he was referring to this exact situation. And honestly, he called it perfectly. Here's what you're going to get in this video. We're breaking down the 7 major names that were completely erased from the documentary, straight from Katt Williams' own words and recent statements. We'll dive into why these individuals were allegedly protected, how Katt foresaw all of this long before the mainstream media caught on, and the deep connections between these celebrities and Diddy, connections that Netflix seemingly didn't want audiences to see. And here's where things get even crazier. There are growing claims that people actually attempted to bribe 50 Cent to make sure certain controversial names never appeared in the documentary. While nothing has been officially confirmed, the pattern is hard to ignore. Powerful people, powerful money, and powerful silence. But according to Katt Williams, none of this is surprising. He has repeatedly said that some names are simply untouchable. Whether we're talking about the infamous dirty tapes, industry secrets, or the final version of a Netflix documentary, there are individuals whose involvement will never be publicly exposed. Not because the evidence isn't there, but because the system protects them. And that's exactly what Katt warned us about. So the real question is, who was removed? Why were they protected? And how deep does this really go? Because if Katt Williams is right, and history suggests he usually is, this story is far from over.
In 20 years, won't do an interview. Nobody's ever talked to her, and she's never been interviewed anywhere. And now, understand, I'm not talking about one person. What I just told you applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that. That's part of what you get. I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. T.G. Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the lie.
Now, before we get into this video, I need to make one thing very clear. We're not going to focus on the most obvious names, people like Jay-Z or Beyonce. Those conversations have already been had, and their alleged actions are well known. This video is about the names no one wants to talk about. Everything really began back in 2024, when Katt Williams appeared on Club Shay Shay and did what many thought was impossible. He predicted Diddy's entire downfall. During that interview, Katt made a chilling statement: "Diddy likes to party, and you gotta tell him no." At the time, it sounded cryptic. Now, it sounds like a warning. Katt went on to say that 2024 would be the year all lies would be exposed. And look at where we are today. He didn't just hint at it. He openly called out Diddy, T.D. Jakes, and several other powerful figures, making it clear that certain people in high places were living very uncomfortable truths. One line from Katt stood out above the rest: "The ones who have a problem with the truth know exactly why they have a problem with it." That wasn't trash talk. That was a message. Fast forward to the present. 50 Cent produced a Netflix documentary titled Diddy, The Reckoning. And this wasn't just another surface-level exposé. The documentary includes never-before-seen footage of Diddy taken just before his arrest, behind-the-scenes moments, private legal strategy meetings, and allegations so serious they sent shockwaves through the industry. Diddy's legal team immediately went into damage control mode. They sent cease and desist letters to Netflix, claiming the footage was stolen, unauthorized, and illegally obtained. They labeled the documentary a shameful hit piece. But Netflix didn't fold. The documentary was released anyway. And here's why all of this matters right now. Diddy has been sentenced to 4 years in prison on prostitution-related charges, even though he managed to avoid the larger RICO case, for now. But make no mistake, this story is far from finished. There are over 150 lawsuits currently being prepared or filed against him, and some of those cases allegedly involve minors. Yes, minors. Federal authorities have already stated that additional charges are still on the table, and the investigation remains active. In fact, sources say that prosecutors working on Diddy's case are now communicating with prosecutors connected to the Tupac investigation. Let that sink in. That alone tells you how deep this really goes. On top of that, there are growing claims that multiple Diddy tapes exist, and that some individuals are preparing to leak them. These recordings allegedly show other high-profile celebrities engaging in behavior they never expected the public to see. And now, coming full circle, Katt Williams recently made a joke that wasn't really a joke at all. In just a few words, he essentially confirmed everything people have been whispering about for months. Listen closely to this.
Diddy, 4 years. Say that again. But take it 27 years. 4 years. Meanwhile, they tried to give me 4 years with 2 blunts I had no intention of smoking in the first place. Same 4 years. I don't give a fuck. Being an ass-kicking devil worshiper is not against the law. They put that man on a whole RICO because they thought he was f***ing vagina. They said, bring out the 9 cross. 9 niggas walked out. That ain't even get the law. Go on and get you sorry. That man liked this so much as his punishment. They sent him to the place with the most. I ain't finna say shit.
Now, I know this sounds wild, but this wasn't just comedy. This was Katt Williams confirming everything he's been saying all along. He knows what really happened. He knows who was involved. And most importantly, he knows exactly who was protected when the cameras stopped rolling. So now, let's get into it. These are the 7 names that never made it into the documentary. And the first one is going to surprise a lot of people. Snoop Dogg. Yeah. That's Snoop Dogg. I know what you're thinking right now. Snoop? Seriously? But yes, seriously. Snoop Dogg has deep, decades-long ties to Diddy. They ran in the same elite circles, partied together, did business together, and collaborated musically over the years. For a long time, they were inseparable in the industry, always showing up at the same events and moving within the same power networks. So the real question is this: why didn't Snoop Dogg appear anywhere in the documentary? According to insiders, it's because Ally Carter exposed him, and what she revealed sent shockwaves behind the scenes. The allegations were serious enough that including Snoop's name would have changed the entire direction of the documentary. And that's exactly why it never made the final cut. What Ally Carter claimed wasn't just uncomfortable, it was dangerous for certain people's reputations. And once again, a powerful name was quietly erased, protected from scrutiny, while the public was shown only part of the truth. And this is just the first name. It only gets deeper from here.
I knew that Snoop Dogg, not again, mentioned him in December of 2020, but everybody beat the hell out of me. Through you, that can't be true. What the hell do I know, right? And then recently it just came out again that Snoop Dogg got accused of bullying children. And what did everybody do? Oh, Snoop Dogg is at the halftime. I'm going to the halftime. But we canceled Dr. Seuss and Jemima. Nobody mad. Nobody. Super Bowl happens. They're dripping down from the letters. The LVI. I know, but that's fine. That's fine. Let's go to the game. Make some hot wings. It's fine. It'll pass. It'll pass, right? It's a phase. It's just a phase. Oh no. Tell somebody that plastic straws are coming back and throw a fit. Let a convict get arrested. Somebody put a knee on a convict's neck and it's over. The neck of Alvin. Crickets. Crickets. Nothing. Everything's fine.
Everything seemed fine on the surface, but according to Ally Carter, things are far more disturbing than they appear. She has publicly claimed that Snoop Dogg is even more powerful and more protected than Diddy ever was. In her words, Diddy may have taken the fall, but others were never meant to be touched. What's important here is timing. Ally Carter says she named Snoop back in December of 2020, long before any of this became mainstream conversation. At the time, she wasn't taken seriously. Instead, she was attacked online, labeled a liar, and told to stay quiet. But she didn't. She kept speaking out, even as the backlash grew. According to her allegations, Snoop was accused of involvement in extremely serious and disturbing activities, including claims related to the exploitation of young people. Now, you would think that accusations of that magnitude, true or not, would trigger investigations, media scrutiny, or at the very least public discussion. But that didn't happen. Nothing happened. No major headlines. No visible investigations. No industry backlash. In fact, while these allegations were circulating online, Snoop Dogg went on to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show, one of the biggest, most-watched events in American culture. Let that sink in. We've seen public figures canceled over old tweets, brand mascots erased over cultural pressure, and careers ended over far less. Yet in this case, the allegations were met with total silence. And that silence is exactly what people like Katt Williams have been pointing to all along. Not proof, but protection. And this raises a bigger question. If some names are too powerful to even be discussed publicly, who decides what the public is allowed to know? And remember, this is only one name on the list. The next one makes things even more uncomfortable. Snoop got a pass. According to Ally Carter, that silence wasn't accidental, it was symbolic. She even pointed out what she believed was hidden messaging during the Super Bowl halftime show, claiming the Roman numerals LVI appeared to drip like blood. Whether you see symbolism or coincidence, her point was this: everyone was distracted. People were focused on wings, commercials, and the game itself, while bigger questions went completely ignored. And that brings us to the real reason 50 Cent allegedly cut Snoop Dogg from the documentary. Not because there wasn't material. Not because there wasn't history. But because Snoop is too connected. According to industry insiders, Snoop is one of those figures who exists beyond normal accountability. His relationships span decades, crossing music, film, television, sports, and corporate America. The belief is that if 50 Cent had seriously gone after Snoop, the documentary might have never seen distribution. Not on Netflix, not anywhere. Some people in hip-hop are considered untouchable, and Snoop Dogg is widely viewed as one of them. Now let's move on to the next name. Kevin Hart. Kevin's situation is especially interesting because he has spoken about Diddy, but always very carefully. Never directly. Never too deeply. Always with just enough distance to stay safe. Back in the day, Kevin Hart was known to attend Sean Combs' infamous Puffy Flavor camps. If you're unfamiliar with those events, let's just say they had a reputation for being completely out of control. These weren't casual industry mixers. They were private, invite-only gatherings where only insiders were allowed. And Kevin was one of them. During that era, Kevin Hart wasn't just around the circle, he was inside it. There's even viral footage, often referred to online as the Frosted Flakes clip, that many people point to as evidence that Kevin was aware of what went on behind closed doors, even if he never spoke on it publicly. Again, no accusations. No conclusions. Just proximity, access, and silence. And once you start looking at who was close enough to know, it becomes clearer why certain names never made it into the documentary. And trust me, the next one raises even more questions.
I want to thank you. Come here. Don't sit on the bed at night. No homo. No, just don't get close to the bed. Don't get close to the bed. But it's just like, yo, we want to thank you for hosting the thing, man. It's been a pleasure. You didn't have to do it, and you did it.
No, I definitely didn't have to do it. I definitely didn't have to. First and foremost, I'm not getting in the bed. Shouts out to him and what he did. I'm just gonna, if we can, let's just put the camera a little this way, just so we're not. I don't want my shot to even, I don't want it to come close to the bed at all. I should look like he fresh off goddamn plane. I should.
Fresh off the guard stage. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but like that's not. Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get them early.
Yo, what the f*** did Puff just say?
Nobody's gonna acknowledge this with me. Pump said we used to wrestle over the Frosted Flakes, and we're streaming live. That was stupid. Listen, that was fucking stupid.
We having a good time, yo. Oh, your usher made it in the
yo. I'm a thug. At the end of the day, I kill niggas, man. No, listen, at the end of the day, I kill.
But here's where things get really interesting. Kevin Hart recently hosted the BET Awards, and as usual, he had the audience laughing. But if you pay close attention, some of his jokes about Diddy weren't just comedy, they were revealing. On the surface, it seemed like typical roast-style humor. But industry insiders say Kevin's lines dropped hints about what he knew, and more importantly, what he couldn't say outright. Every laugh was carefully crafted, every punchline a tiny glimpse into the inner circle of Diddy's world, the world most people will never see. This isn't just about comedy. This is about how information is shared subtly, how people signal truths without putting themselves at risk, and how Kevin managed to acknowledge events without ever being explicit. And believe me, once you connect the dots, it all starts to make sense. Next, we move on to name number 3, and things only get deeper from here.
For somebody to invite him in. Hey, don't do it. Okay? We all saw the movie Sinners. Don't let his here. So he can bite somebody. So he can bite Playboy Cardi again, okay? Playboy Cardi definitely been bit. Something happened. Playboy Cardi's been bit. I know he has. Nobody let Kanye in. No! Tonight I will do my part. Everybody will get flowers. I'll do my part to make sure that I put us on a high pedestal, man. Also, I'm gonna do my part. I'm shutting down the idea of after parties. No after parties tonight, okay? None. Take your home after this. That's why I did it on a Monday. I did it on a Monday. People got to go to work tomorrow. No after parties. That's for it's slippery at them after parties. Okay? We're learning a lot about people, ain't we? We're learning a lot. God is good all the time. Kurt, that makes it right. Whatever I just said goes away. Funny.
During his hosting of the BET Awards, Kevin Hart made some jokes that seemed innocent on the surface, but if you listen closely, there was more going on. He joked about after parties, saying things like, "That's where _ gets slippery," and "We learning a lot about people, ain't we?" Then he added the classic line, "God is good all the time." At first glance, it sounds like typical Kevin Hart humor. But insiders say Kevin was actually sending subtle messages. He specifically mentioned, "No after parties tonight," and even scheduled a show on a Monday, making it inconvenient for people to linger or attend late-night events. According to sources, this wasn't random, it was intentional. Next up on the list, Orlando Brown. Now, Orlando is known for saying wild things, and some of his claims have been shocking. He recently made a statement about Kevin Hart that grabbed attention online, claiming that Kevin received $50 million to handle certain personal matters privately. Whether true or exaggerated, it shows just how interconnected these figures are behind the scenes, and why certain names never appear in official narratives. When it comes to Kevin Hart, some of the things being said online are shocking. One claim making the rounds is that Kevin allegedly took $50 million for private personal matters. Now, whether you believe that or not is up to you, but here's what we do know for sure. Kevin knows too much about the darker side of the industry. He was there. He saw things. He participated in things. But today, he's far too successful and untouchable to be dragged into this kind of public controversy. And that's why, according to insiders, 50 Cent removed Kevin from the documentary. It wasn't about silencing him, it was about protection. Protecting Kevin means protecting the entire comedy industry. And 50 Cent? He wasn't about to open that can of worms. Now, let's move on to the next name, Maze. This one is probably the most frustrating of all. Maze was literally one of Diddy's closest allies during the height of his empire, a key player in his inner circle. And yet, somehow, he never made it into the documentary. Maze was one of Diddy's closest people during the Bad Boy Records era. He wasn't just around. He was at the center of everything. The parties, the business deals, the music, every major move in the empire. If anyone truly knows where the skeletons are buried, it's Maze. But here's the thing, Maze is silent. Suspiciously silent. It took him 10 years to get out of his contract with Diddy. 10 long years. And even after finally gaining his freedom, Maze has never spoken negatively about Diddy. Not publicly. Not on record. There's even an interview on V103 where Diddy brought Maze to the station with what appeared to be bags of cash. The whole moment felt off, awkward, mysterious, and loaded with unspoken meaning. It's moments like these that show why some people never made it into the documentary. Maze knows too much, yet he chooses silence, and in this world, sometimes silence is more powerful than words.
Hart took $50 million to unversion his hope.
Can you explain a little bit?
No, I just...
On air, Diddy said, Maze is free to work, and he can do whatever he wants now. But if you watched Maze's reaction closely, it told a different story. Nervous, surprised, overly grateful. He seemed still controlled in some way. He even said, "It took me 10 years to get this paperwork right here," shocked that Diddy had actually returned his publishing rights. And then he joked, "I ain't used to Puff doing good stuff." Think about that for a second. A man who worked alongside Diddy for decades was genuinely shocked that Diddy did something positive. That reaction alone speaks volumes about the dynamic between them. So why did 50 Cent remove Maze from the documentary? Because Maze is either too scared to speak or still influenced by Diddy in some way. His silence is suspicious. He knows everything, but says nothing. Including Maze in the documentary would have raised uncomfortable questions. Why isn't he talking? What does Diddy still have on him? What really went on behind the scenes? And that's exactly why 50 Cent decided it's safer to just leave him out. 50 Cent decided it was safer to leave Maze out completely. Now let's talk about Meek Mill, and I'm going to be honest, this one is messy. Meek has been in and around Diddy and the industry elite for years. There have been whispers about him for a long time, but nothing concrete. Until recently. Enter Orlando Brown. Yes, him again. Orlando made a statement that got a lot of people talking. You can't unreceive what your butthole received. Confused? So were many. But it sparked a bizarre chain of claims. Meek reportedly offered $100,000 to investigate and prove that he had nothing to do with anything involving Diddy. Now, that might sound crazy, and it is, but Orlando has been calling people out for years, and sometimes he ends up being right. Meek's name kept coming up in these discussions, and things got even weirder. An audio file allegedly featuring Meek Mill leaked online, and many claimed the other voice on the recording belonged to P. Diddy himself. Whether all of this is true or exaggerated, it shows why some names never made it into the documentary. Including Meek could have opened doors to uncomfortable questions and messy conversations that 50 Cent likely didn't want on Netflix.
No, this is freedom paper.
What's up, Mace?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Mace.
Robin is back in the building. What up, Batman?
What up, Mace? How you doing, boy?
Better than I look.
What's up, Mace? How you been, man?
I'm chilling, man. All my cars still work. Just the pub doing good stuff, you know.
Yeah, every once in a while you got to do something good.
Next up, Jaguar Wright. She's been exposing industry secrets for years and recently weighed in on the Meek Mill situation. According to her, she believes the voice in that leaked audio was definitely Diddy. The clip itself was explicit and damaging, spreading rapidly across social media, but it disappeared almost as fast as it surfaced. So why did 50 Cent remove Meek from the documentary? Because that audio was never officially verified. Including it would have opened massive legal risks. Meek Mill is still active in the industry, with power, lawyers, and resources. He could have sued Netflix into oblivion. From a business perspective, 50 Cent made the call to avoid potential lawsuits rather than include something that couldn't be proven 100%. Now, let's move on to Justin Bieber, and this one is very different. Justin isn't being accused of anything. He's a victim in this story. Justin actually lived with Diddy for a brief period when he was a young teenager. There are old clips where Diddy even says he had custody of Justin for 48 hours. And if you watch those videos closely, you can see young Justin looking uncomfortable around Diddy. So why isn't Justin in the documentary? Because 50 Cent made the conscious decision to protect him. Including Justin could have opened up sensitive discussions about his childhood, and 50 Cent wasn't willing to put a minor, or a young celebrity, under that kind of scrutiny. Recently, paparazzi pressed Justin about his time with Diddy. The documentary and Justin's response to it were heartbreaking. Recently, paparazzi approached him about his time with Diddy, and all he had to say was, "Don't ask me about that man ever. Some things I moved on from for my own peace." He went on to explain, "I was a kid. I didn't know anything. I don't ever want to talk about that again." You can hear the pain and weight in his voice. Justin was just a child when all of this happened. He didn't have a choice, and he didn't fully understand what he was stepping into. From a production standpoint, 50 Cent made the right call by leaving Justin out of the documentary. Including him would have meant exposing experiences of a child, opening up a conversation that was far too dark, even for a platform like Netflix. This wasn't about silencing anyone, it was about protecting someone who had no agency at the time. Netflix also made the right call with Justin. He's moved on, he's married, has kids, and is building his life. Rehashing his childhood trauma for entertainment would have been cruel and unnecessary. By leaving him out, 50 Cent showed respect for Justin as a victim, and honestly, that's the most human decision he could have made. Now let's move on to Usher, and his story is just as important, if not more so. Usher was the first. Long before Justin Bieber, Usher lived with Diddy as a teenager in what was called Puff Flavor Camp. He was essentially the prototype, the first young star to go through Diddy's inner system. Usher has hinted publicly that he saw things he couldn't unsee, experiences that profoundly affected him. Years later, he was even the one who sent Justin Bieber to Diddy, a decision he probably regrets every single day. So why did 50 Cent remove Usher from the documentary? For the same reason as Justin, Usher is a victim, not a perpetrator. As Katt Williams warned us long ago, they take young, talented kids and put them through things that leave lasting marks. These are experiences the public isn't ready for, and exposing them in a documentary could have caused real harm to people who were powerless at the time. They broke Usher. He was the first one. They tested everything on him. According to sources close to the production, the Usher segment was too dark for TV, even for a documentary about Diddy's crimes. What happened to Usher was too disturbing to include. He's trying to protect his legacy and his career. Usher is an R&B legend, with kids of his own now. Dragging him back into the story would have re-traumatized him and tarnished his legacy all over again. 50 Cent made the call to leave Usher out, and that was the right decision. And now, we get to the big one. The name that matters more than any other on this list, Clive Davis. Most people don't fully understand who Clive Davis is, but if you know, you know. Clive Davis is the man above Diddy. He's the true gatekeeper of the music industry. Diddy doesn't move without Clive's approval. Every major decision, every business move, every strategic career choice goes through him first. Clive discovered and controlled legends, Whitney Houston, Alicia Keys, and countless others. He's been a powerhouse in the industry for over 50 years. He knows everyone. He's connected to everyone. And in the world of this documentary, including Clive would have been explosive if Diddy threw wild parties. Just imagine what Clive Davis's parties looked like. Diddy was just a worker. Clive was the boss. As Katt Williams himself said, Diddy was just a worker. Who is the boss? Clive Davis. So why did 50 Cent remove Clive from the documentary? One word: fear. Exposing Clive Davis would have destroyed the documentary before it even aired. Netflix wouldn't touch it. Streaming platforms would refuse it. Networks wouldn't promote it. Clive has power and connections everywhere. Record labels, media companies, streaming services. Going after him, that would have been the end of it all. 50 Cent had no choice. Removing Clive's name was the only way the documentary could exist. If he hadn't, you wouldn't be watching this story right now, it would have been buried. And this is the most important omission of the entire list. Everyone focuses on Diddy, but Clive created the system that allowed Diddy to operate. Diddy learned everything from him. Taking down Diddy means nothing if Clive remains untouchable, and that's exactly what happened. So there you have it, the 7 names 50 Cent removed from the Netflix Diddy documentary. Katt Williams predicted this. He said all lies would be exposed in 2024, but he also knew the most powerful names would remain hidden. From Snoop Dogg to Clive Davis, these omissions show you just how deep the protection goes. The system protects its own. Always has. Always will. The Netflix documentary is only the beginning. More charges are coming for Diddy. The feds are still investigating. Lawsuits are piling up. Now I want to hear from you. Comment below. Which name do you think should have been included? Did 50 Cent make the right choice protecting these people, or should he have exposed everyone, no matter the consequences? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.